Hi, I'm Hunter Bowles with Next Gen Racing, and I would like to bring you our analysis of the Kurt Busch situation. I got the expert over here, Jason Oltmanns, and just remind you at the end of this video, hit like, hit subscribe if you liked it, and help us out. But now I'm going to send it over to Jason Oltmanns and on his view of what's going to happen to Kurt Busch next season.
Cool, yeah, I like the video, man. So thanks, Hunter. All right, Kurt Busch situation for 2014. Honestly, I think it's going to be coming down to 4 teams now. The 42 with Ganassi, the 29, or maybe a different number with RCR, the 39 SHR, and maybe back to the 78 with his current team, Furniture Row Racing. Quick, first. 42 team. Ganassi's seriously going to be looking for some top-tier talent this year, or for next year, rather, now that they've officially released that Juan Pablo Montoya is not going to be back with the team for next year. Ganassi's absolutely going to be yearning for a driver that can take him to the absolute next level. Since he's been coming into NASCAR, he's been pretty much a non-factor for the actual Cup and actually going for that championship. The closest they've ever been was back in about 2001 with Sterling Marlin in the Coors Light Dodge. I think they finished about third that year. Kurt Busch would easily bring that team up to being a contender. Ganassi has the speed, he's got the resources, and he definitely has the absolute drive to make it happen. The team is fast, it just seriously needs that little extra push to make it happen every single week. Ganassi is already one of the best restrictor plate cars. Remember, they merged with the best plate program years past with DEI, and Kurt Busch is easily probably one of the best at those tracks. It would be extremely fun to watch him on restrictor plate tracks with all that talent behind him. 2 things holding him back. Target. Target is a very wholesome Minnesota company that needs a family-friendly face to represent their brand. I'm not sure they'd be on board with the outlaw thing that the Kurt Busch camp has projected himself as. Second issue, Kyle Larson. He's the absolute future for this team, and Ganassi has a track record of bringing up talent very early. I've had a hard time believing that they're going to be able to offer a couple-year contract to Kurt Busch with Larson already claiming he's ready for the Cup. Second option, RCR. I hardly feel it's even worth mentioning that it's a possibility. Now it's been officially pointed out that Austin Dillon will be making the move to the Cup Series. Suppose he's going to be taking over the 29 car. I'm assuming that's going to be moving to the 3 car again. The only way I could see that Kurt Busch moving to a 4th team would be if they actually create a 4th team for him. Now, it's a rumor that RCR may be ending their alliance with Furniture Row Racing. If this were to happen, maybe Childress would want to fill in that void with another team. That being said, sponsorship would again be a very huge issue. Budweiser is going along with Harvick to SHR, so finding full-time money for both Dillon and Busch would be one heck of a stretch. Don't think it's going to happen, so we can basically toss that one out. So, speaking of Stewart-Haas Racing, it's been rumored in this past week, and some news sites have actually claimed that this is a confirmed offer, is that SHR has offered Kurt Busch a ride in a 4th car fielded by their team. This is one heck of an interesting turnaround, so after we were told recently that Newman wouldn't be back because they didn't have the time or the resources or the money to field that 4th team. Supposedly, Kurt would be sponsored full-time by Haas Automation. Now, I find that rather interesting. I think that means Tony Stewart's co-owner, Gene Haas is currently the lone stockholder for Haas Automation, would basically be putting up his own money full-time for this car and for to bring Kurt Busch over. Honestly, this is probably Gene maybe flexing some of his ownership muscle, trying to bring in some serious talent. And maybe he's trying to challenge Hendrick a little bit for pure dominance in the sport as far as talent and the drivers goes. Well, Danica Patrick isn't exactly going to be dominant. Anyway, the only thing really holding Kurt back is that Stewart-Haas Racing kind of struggles with the expansion. They're already a young team to begin with, and the fact that they've gone from 2 to 3 teams wasn't exactly the smoothest transition. It'd be kind of hard to expect that they'd be able to be dominant right away going with the 4th team. So finally that brings us Furniture Row Racing in the 78 car. We've been told time and time again that this year Furniture Row Racing is the underdog story or the Cinderella story or the little team that could story of the year, whatever you want to call it. This is definitely a team that risked signing Kurt when nobody else would. I would believe that they would want him back for next year, and I do believe that they do, now that they've seen results that this team has never even come close to in their entire existence. Kurt has just absolutely taken this team to the next level, and he's definitely on the verge of doing something that seems completely impossible in the fact that he's becoming close to being a championship contender with a single car team. Now he's obviously got a long ways to go with that. That being said, Furniture Racing has some serious downfalls. It's an absolute coin flip whether or not that RCR alliance continues. If they lose RCR technology, my guess is that Furniture Racing will probably switch to Toyota. This is going to be an absolute crippling move since I don't feel that Furniture Racing cars have the sort of technology that they need. They don't have the technology. They don't have the manpower. They don't have the resources. They don't have the type of just sheer amount of engineers to actually go over this. My guess is right now their actual speed and their cars coming from a complete blueprint that's completely created at RCR in their shop in Charlotte, and it's basically just emailed over to Denver for them to create the cars over there. Also, the pit crew, serious downfall. We've seen it a couple times, especially during the All-Star race. Kurt Busch would have won that race had not the pit crew completely screwed things over. Now, if you remember, this is the first year where Furniture Racing has basically developing their own pit crew in-house. And there's really no way they can compete with the other teams on trying to get serious talent as far as their pit crew goes. A lot of people don't know this, but Hendrick Motorsports, they actually recruit D1 college athletes to come over and try out for their pit crew teams. And they basically have those guys compete with the regular guys to end up just keeping everything fresh. So, overall, honestly, if this SHR offer is true, I guess he's probably going to head over there. Honestly, now, my wish, of course, and this will never happen, is Furniture Racing maybe to expand to 2 teams. This is the only way they're going to be competitive if they lose that RCR alliance. Well, maybe in the future they could switch to Dodge. Again, probably not going to happen. So while we're dreaming, why don't we put this out there? Maybe they can take sponsorship from Kurt Busch as one of secondary sponsors in Monster and kind of develop that team into something else and not just completely owned by a furniture store. Maybe some people will actually want to buy some t-shirts then if they have something else other than Furniture Racing on the car. The flat black look looks good though. So as a Kurt Busch fan, I can only dream, I guess. So anyway, I don't know what question I was supposed to answer. 2014, I don't know. So back to you, Hunter.
Thank you, Jason, and that was a very, very good analysis. And we'd like to remind you that if you want more of this every single week, subscribe to Next